Hello, everyone. Welcome to another post-game podcast live stream, Missing Wolves episode. I'm your host, Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage, and we have a comeback win to talk about, and I figured, what the heck, we might as well get Steve Hartman on from the Splash City Basketball Podcast to talk some hoops. How's it going, man?
Good. Yeah, that's this was an exciting game. It's gonna be fun to talk about. I think halfway through the game, I thought, man, this is kind of a downer, but they turned it around.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of talk about the A topic. I mean, Victor Wembanyama going into the fourth quarter was plus 24 in a pretty ludicrous 19 minutes of play. They kind of flip the switch on him in the fourth quarter, throw Randle on him, throw Jaden on him, and he ends up going -7, and the Wolves kind of take it over. I mean, what did you see from the Wolves defense that were able to actually stop this guy?
Yeah, well, stop
stop in quotation marks this guy.
Right, yeah. I mean, no, the physicality, like, that was an interesting move, I thought, to put Randle on him. I think in some respects I was happily, pleased with how the refs let that go, with how physical it got. That first possession setting the tone where it almost looked like he pushed him out of bounds, but just getting into him, getting him uncomfortable. And I think half of it was just making them uncomfortable a little bit because they had been so, the defense in the last game against the Cavs yesterday was not ideal. So I think, for the most part tonight, it was pretty good. And that just kind of set the tone. And Julius, I felt like almost played like role player stuff tonight, right? Getting boards, getting like all those and ones on the offensive glass. And that first possession kind of felt like it set the tone.
It is wild that they give up 146 points to Cleveland, and then 30 hours later they hold San Antonio to 103 points. I mean, I've kind of been preaching the whole, like, this is just the regular season in the NBA, but it kind of is, that you're just going to have these ups and downs. And when the Wolves are actually like locked in playing really good, they can kind of beat anyone, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think tonight their versatility, their bent, like, Nas had another great game. Bones in that fourth had 5 straight to kind of like get him going again. And like you said, like putting Jaden on Wemby, moving Jaden around and guarding different people. Julius, that was actually, there was a point in the game where Rudy was on the bench, and I couldn't tell if it was because of the tech and the flagrant. Or if they just thought, you know what, we need more foot speed out there on Wemby, and we need to stay more connected to him so he can't just catch and shoot. And Rudy just seemed to struggle with that a little bit, which, I mean, that's a tough guard for anybody. But Randle has the physicality, and Jaden has the length a little bit as well as anybody on the Wolves probably at this point. So I thought that was interesting. And then the Spurs countered with like the 2 big lineup. They brought Cornette in with Wemby. So that was kind of an interesting a way to counter some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, first off, like, Julius is a massive human being, like 6'8", 6'9", like nothing but muscle, like short T-Rex arms. Like, the dude is just like a big dude. And standing next to Wemby, he looks like a point guard. And it's insane to see in person, because it's like, I go up to, like, when Rudy's standing next to me, like, I go up to like his second layer of abs. Like, I don't even make it to the chest. And then you see him standing next to Wemby, and it's like the guy towers over everyone. I thought that was interesting too, that they went with like Cornette for times in the fourth. I wonder if, like, if they could roll it back, if they would do more like 3 guard stuff with like Keldon. Maybe it's, Sohan's eventually going to get back into the rotation. Real quick though, like, because you mentioned Bones, my favorite stat from the entire game is Bones played 4 minutes and 19 seconds in the fourth quarter. And during that stretch, the Wolves put up a 20 for a defensive rating. Best defensive rating in the league is 109. For that 4-minute stretch, the Wolves put up a 20. Like, this team, and Phil mentions in the chat, game ball to Jew. I mean, this team, when they are locked in, it's Oklahoma City level of just turmoil.
Yeah. And early on, there was moments where they weren't rotating and moving. You know, it just it looked at the beginning like one of those games, like those throwaway defensive games kind of building off yesterday where I actually didn't think they played too bad a defense for most of the game. It was really later where it just kind of snowballed on them. But yeah, they definitely, you know, found some things. You know, I don't think San Antonio didn't shoot the ball incredibly well, but the Wolves, I would say, like they didn't. That was one of their, you know,
Yeah.
not ideal offensive performances. Their free throw shooting, I think they were -8 just in the free throw, you know, point differential, and so you win by one, and you're like, man, we didn't shoot the ball well, and so yeah, it was defense. They, I mean, that's been the key all year, and I think it's the key to matching up with San Antonio and Denver and OKC is they got to find that level of want to that they had 2 years ago, because that just is that's the key to this. You know, unlocking this team. It gets Jaden going. It gets Dante. I thought Dante played phenomenal tonight. I mean, he almost had triple double watch for Dante. So, you know, when those guys are deflections and blocks, like I looked at Jaden's stat line from yesterday versus today, and just the defensive activity was ratcheted up big time.
It's first off, Dante, like that inbound steal 3 had me like flashbacks of Reggie Miller, was just like, wow, that's incredible. Like, way to go. I didn't get a chance to ask anyone after the game because like everyone kind of organically brought up Jaden's like 2 blocks and then his
Mm.
weird little like post pull up jump shot thing over Wemby.
Oh yeah.
And Ant, of course, tells stories as only Ant can, but apparently Jaden was in midair blocking the ball, telling Ant to stay home on the shooter. And like that's the level of like locked in that Jaden can get to, is like just game wrecking blocks, like the vocal leader of the defense. I mean, Rudy wasn't on the floor for most of the fourth, and
No.
just like the connectivity of this team is again, it doesn't show up every single game. Like I know fan bases, like the fan base has issues with that, but like this is when you're looking at what can the Wolves do in the postseason. Like this is what they can do. They can hold a really good offensive team to. I mean, quite frankly, like it didn't look like the Spurs could get anything going in the fourth quarter other than just kind of heaves. Outscored them
Mm.
33-18. I mean, I guess like offensively we can talk about that too, but like Julius was phenomenal both ways. Like
Yeah.
this is the like if you're on the trade Julius fence, like this is the stuff. This is the game that like only Julius can do that stuff. Don't you
Right.
think?
Yeah. I mean, Nas can't do that. You know, and Jaden's not that physical, and just his physical presence. And I think it was really important because, like you said, Rudy wasn't on the floor for a lot of this. And usually he's the one that keeps the defensive unit together. He's talking assignments, he's getting guys in the right position. He's the anchor. And for them to have that level of intensity and, you know, just sticking to their guy. I mean, I just think that was it's key because you're going to have games like you said in the playoffs where, you know, Rudy might not be on the floor at the end of the game for matchup purposes, and they have to be able to defend. There were moments I thought there were multiple stretches where the defense kept them in it, even when it was like 14-point lead. You know, I think
Mhm.
right out of the gate, maybe in the second half, there was or no, it was fourth quarter. Yeah, there was like a 4 minute. They almost went 4 minutes without scoring in the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean,
and they
and there was a
and they
stretch in the
still
first half like that too. So there's just, you know, that thank God they did that because nothing was falling, free throws weren't falling. You know, so there were some empty possessions there, but yeah, I mean, this team will go as far as that defense can play at a high level.
well, and the flip side of it is just like, you know, the Spurs, I think this is a game that they were, you know, they were also on a back-to-back, like coming
You know,
here to Boston. They're going kind of on a West Coast, or no, they're going to OKC and then I think they go back home, but like also on a back-to-back. Like Wemby, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, like I watch the Spurs quite a bit, but I like his minute rotation was just kind of weird tonight. Like 4 minutes on, then he'd sit for like 8 minutes. Like
mhm.
I do think the game coming up where we're in San Antonio is probably the true like measuring stick game of like, where do these two teams match up? But again, they can hold a team with a guy that's a 7'6" stretch big scoreless for like 4 or 5 minutes. It does seem like they're starting to build that defense back up, which, I mean, again, it's January 11th. I think there are going to be games between now and March where they just, like Atlanta, allow them to score 146 points, and everybody kind of seems disengaged at times. And then when the lights are on and San Antonio is here and the nation's going to be watching, they just can lock in a way that's like again, I don't even know what you do if you're San Antonio. Like De'Aaron Fox is getting like back pocketed picked at half court. Like,
Yeah.
It's interesting. I do want to ask you about this though. Cole brings up in the chat that we may see Johan play. We did ask Rudy about it, and he said he would be excited to watch him from home, just like all of us. I mean, how excited are you to actually potentially see real Johan minutes?
I mean, I've been excited since I saw him in summer league, to be honest. Obviously that's a huge jump, but I think there was garbage minutes yesterday that he played in, or was it the Miami game? Sorry,
Yeah.
Miami game.
Yep, Miami.
And I mean, it looks like he's getting more comfortable. I don't know how Finch feels about it. I feel like Mike and Nori might be willing to do that. I don't know how long Finch is going to be sick for, but yeah, I do think the rim protection when he's off the floor, when Rudy's off the floor, is an issue. So that's one of the things, like, as we've talked about, who the Wolves can add at this point. I'm almost starting to like, I'm good with the point guard situation. I think I'm ready to move on to backup big who can rebound and protect the rim a little bit, because tonight it helped, like, that Wemby, it likes to catch it out further from the hoop, and we were able to push him out. Julius was able to force him away from the basket more. But some of the teams, we won't be able to do that. So you still want to have some rim protection there in that second unit. So I would prefer to have that at this point. But I don't know. I totally lost track of the question. I don't know if I answered it, but that's where my mind went.
You are fantastic. I actually completely agree with you. I've been kind of saying on the last few pods of backup big is I bring up Brook Lopez a lot, like that type of role player that can like shoot threes still. Maybe not the best inside presence on offense like he used to be back in the Brooklyn days, but then is like a capable big body big that it's not just hemorrhaging points when Rudy's off. Yeah. Although like tonight, Julius and Nas played fine. So maybe it is just like against teams when it matters, they'll figure it out, but I wouldn't be willing to bet on that yet. I mean, to your other point of just Wemby liking to play outside a little bit more, that's kind of what's scary to me is we kind of saw the evolution of Ant tonight, right? Where last year in the playoffs, he's not going to the paint. He's not just going to go and do a turnaround fade jumper from baseline and make it. He's probably doing his like 2 between the leg dribble, step back to the left 3, and like maybe it goes in, but most times not. Like Wemby 2 or 3 years from now isn't going to just be catching the ball outside the perimeter. He's going to, in these moments, be getting it at the nail and probably be 50 pounds heavier. And then what do you do? But yeah, it was encouraging to see him win tonight. I think it shows like what this ceiling is for this team. I do want to run us over to a couple of ad reads here quick though, and then let's preview the Bucks game a little bit. Maybe. Nope. Ads. I decided. Well, hello. Thank you, live stream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. Real quick before we get on to Pence Homes, Firehawk Construction does have a new phone number. I lied when I said that I would have the new ad read up today because I did not record my voice for it yet. But their new number is 651-315-4291. Supposed to get pretty cold again here. So I've just been telling people, like, just take the number down, keep it in your phone. You never know if you're in the North Metro area and your sprinkler system is going to freeze and leak into your basement. So Isaac at Firehawk Construction does help that stuff as well as remodels, decks, and renovations. Now let's talk some Nate Pence, though. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. And one more quick thing on Pence Homes. He is actually doing a Minnesota food drive as there's kind of unrest still in the city of Minneapolis and the surrounding areas. A lot of people are missing work, not able to, leave their homes, in some cases not wanting to leave their homes. So Nate Pence has started a food drive. You can ask for more questions about that by emailing info@NatePence or by reaching out to Nate Pence on Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, any of those places. They've raised over $10,000 already. He started it about 24 hours ago. They are going to be driving food to people. So feeding human beings is an important thing. Yes. That's all I have. Now back to basketball. So we'll go in reverse order here. So Phil says, not sure if you touched on it yet. Chris Hine mentioned on X that the flagrant counter resets in the postseason, even though the broadcast said it didn't. Any info on that? Yes, the flagrant counter does reset in the postseason. However, if you get a flagrant in game 82, you will get suspended for the first game of the postseason. So it's still something that Rudy has to be very, very conscious of figuring it out. But much like Ant got suspended a game last year and then it reset in the postseason, Rudy's kind of in the same boat as that. Pack mentality brings up Rudy is staying home. Are they not going on the road for the next couple games? They are going on the road. I mean, my 2 cents is are you going to fly Rudy to Milwaukee for him to sit in the hotel and then fly to Texas? Or do you just give Rudy the night off and then fly him to Texas? I'd just give the dude the night off and fly him to Texas. I mean,
yeah, he's got a newborn at home, right?
Exactly. That's my 2 cents. Let him watch it on his own TV. We did tell him he should live tweet or live stream the entire thing. So maybe go follow Rudy on Twitter and you'll see Rudy live tweeting reactions. Cole mentions the Bucks have 3 to 4 bigs now. Let's talk Bucks. I mean, I think that's another, notch on the bedpost. Well, that's a euphemism that maybe isn't appropriate for a podcast. A notch on the belt loop.
It's not quite late enough for that one.
Yeah, the Bucks aren't bad. I mean, they'll be coming off of rest. They're at time of recording, they're a playoff team. I mean, well, actually, they're a game and a half out of the playoffs. I mean, what are your thoughts what are you looking for to see out of them against the Bucks, I guess?
Well, I mean, first of all, the Bucks have been playing pretty decent, right? They beat the Lakers a couple days ago. I know the Nuggets are shorthanded, but they've been playing well and they kept it close with the Nuggets as well. So I think they present a kind of another unique challenge with Giannis, right? Talk about Wemby and Julius was able to push him around. That's a little tougher with Giannis. And then you got Turner can stretch the floor. Jericho Sims, athletic, but I feel like Rudy. Rudy's not playing in this game, so I guess maybe we will see Berenger in this one. Maybe that's the answer. But I don't know. I mean, if you're a serious playoff team, if you're a top 4 seed in the West, like you win this game. I think, hopefully the Cavaliers late, second half specifically was kind of their throwaway for the week, and we can get back to playing some consistent basketball. I think the other thing is, looking at a lot of the shooting tonight, nobody really shot well. Even Dante, who felt like he played really well, didn't shoot it great. So, ideally regression to the mean, offense should be better against the Bucks. So like, it's just something you don't want to, I don't know. You got to build some things. And like we were saying earlier, right? Like it's the NBA, there's ups, there's downs, there's bad games, there's good games, but this team, it feels like this year it's more of like 4 or 5 good ones and then a bad one in the mix. So if I'm a betting man, I'm feeling good about the Bucks game.
They also probably won't shoot 56% from the free throw line again like that. That was kind of absurd tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, Gannicus just adds the only thing this team is consistent at is being inconsistent. So frustrating and so excited we need a wing. Yeah, I mean that's kind of this team for the last 2 years is just when you think you got them figured out, there's the loss to Atlanta. But it's fun. I'll say that. I do think wins like tonight at least show that they can still make a good playoff push. Mini sports fan for Johan, start him to minimize changes to the roster rotation and see what happens. I'm going to be honest. Like Johan, I think his first preseason game, it was against Denver. And after the game, he was just talking about Valanciunas and like he's so strong. Like I don't know, Miles Turner and Giannis is the best place for him to get his like first minutes, but they don't really have an another option. And then Phil also saw that every flagrant after this is a 2-game suspension, which I'll be honest, like I think that's probably a pretty safe bet that Gobert's going to get another flagrant this year. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I thought tonight specifically, he started out early, like very aggressive, almost like he wanted to prove something, with Wemby, with the matchup with Wemby. And it kind of didn't go his way. They didn't really get him involved much early. They were trying, but throwing lobs over Wemby isn't a great recipe, in my opinion, typically. And it didn't work. And then he just kind of like got frustrated. And that's this year more than others. It does seem like he's getting more of these flagrants. And I guess I don't really worry too much about that. Like once we get to the playoffs, that's what this team is playing for. I think they have that mentality. I think, which is good, and I think they should. I think they've gotten to the point. Even today is a great example of like they can turn it on, and they've shown that when they need to. And so, come playoff time, if Rudy's getting suspended for playoff games, it's a different story. All these games matter in the standings. You can go from 2nd to 6th pretty quick in the West. But overall, I mean, tonight kind of proved that they can play. They can play defense without them if they want to. If they're able to get deflections and get in passing lanes. I mean, Jaden, again, like Dante. I love the way we didn't talk about this earlier on the Spurs game, by the way, and I just wanted to bring this up.
Yeah, by all means.
Stephon Castle, 2 for 11. De'Aaron Fox, as much as he hurt them late, did not have a good game. I mean, Dante and Jaden were smothering those two. And so that's again, like you look at the Bucks game, they don't have guards as good as the Spurs do. Dylan Harper didn't score tonight, and I love Dylan Harper. But the wing and the guard defense tonight was as impressive as Julius on Wemby late, I think. I mean, that was just key because Castle never got going, never got comfortable. Points at the free throw line, but that's about it.
I mean, I talk about it quite a bit of just like if you're the opposing team's like best winger guard, right? Like Jaden usually takes the best guard. Like if you look at his like defensive metrics, he guards a guard. I think it's something like 65% of the time he's on a guard, which is wild because he's a legit like 6'10, 6'11 guy guarding the other team's best guard. And then it's usually like Ant or Rudy or like Dante that takes like the better wing or post player, but like
Mhm.
it like if you're a team coming in here, if you're a De'Aaron Fox, when Jaden's not on you, now it's either Ant or Jalen Clark, who when they're locked in, it also sucks. And if for some reason all three of those guys are out, you have Dante as kind of your fourth guard
Mhm.
stopper, which also I would suck. Like Dante's a really scrappy defender. So it just like this team does have a lot of depth. It's just not like scoring depth, which I
Yeah.
mean, you mentioned getting a backup big. I think, when like Gannicus or people are in the chat bringing up like we need a wing or a guard, like I think that's almost more of the argument for that of like they just need another guy that can put the ball in the bucket. Cause like if Bones doesn't have it going and Nas is having a weird Nas night, like it gets slim quick. Um,
Mhm.
I do want to also just bring up like fourth quarter. Like we talked Julius quite a bit, but just how impressive is it that Ant now has this post game that like he is this confident in and it looks so good.
Yeah, this is kind of what we were told preseason, right? Like this was the bag, the package that he was working on all summer. What I wrote down twice in my notes from this game was patience. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where he's taken another level. There was a point late, I think it was the fadeaway in the baseline late. He looked like he was about to pull the trigger. He moved it, he got it right back, and then he got comfortable again. Like he got a little off balance. I know there was one later, like around the free throw line, where he kind of took a shot. He thought he got fouled, I think, but maybe that was one that he wasn't patient. But I think his ability to like get into his move, realize it maybe isn't there, get off it, get it back, and then go is that's what's turning the corner for him. He's got that fadeaway. I mean, he's obviously got the package. He's Ant, man. He's unbelievable. But it's the situational awareness that I think is really helping him because he doesn't feel like he has to do it right now. I can get off it, get it back, and then I got my shot because I thought there was multiple moments where that happened. He's always going to have that above the break step back three that he hit as well, which
Mm-hmm.
is just every time he shoots it, it's like that's going in.
It's like that's going in, but the old like get off my lawn basketball like player and fan in me is just dies inside every time he shoots that shot. Like it's like a heart sinking feeling of like, it's going in, which is like good for my career. But like, God, I hate that shot so much. I hate it. I hate it. But he makes it. I mean, to your point, like we asked Ant about it after the game of like what his plan was in those final possessions. Like I'm gonna read the full quote for the most part. So just bear with me. But I already knew what I wanted to get to. Anytime it's in the fourth quarter, I'm getting to the post. I don't give a damn who says something about it. I'm going to the post. I worked on it, man, all summer. I think that's the only shot that's really available. If I run pick and roll, they're going to trap me. If I run a small action, they're going to trap me. Usually when I call for a switch, they delayed blitz me. So whoever they got coming out of the timeout, I'm just going to put them in the post, which like, yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes to all of that. Like
Right.
that is how you beat it because now they're going to be doubling you in the post and that's another way you can just move the ball and like kind of break teams, which
Right.
to me it's stuff like that he says that's like the really positive signs for me because it's like he gets it now. Like it
Mhm.
is the like limitless pupil dilating type of moment where it's like, oh, this guy is starting to understand that like where he needs to go, what he needs to do, and where he can overpower people. Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Because that's what I think Shea's gotten to, where he knows he can get to this spot and he's got this shot and he's going to bury it almost every time, and that's what makes him amazing. Uh, his acting skills on the foul baiting is another thing that makes him amazing. But I think that's where Ant is wants to get to. That's why it was so everyone was so encouraged to hear that was a part of his game that he wanted to get to because yeah, super hard to double, easy to find shooters, easy to find cutters if guys are moving from that kind of spot. So I think um, many sports fan mentioned it too that on that Julius screen where he held him off late and drove, like that was another like patient, like I'm seeing it. Okay, Ju's got him like hooked up. I am going right around. I mean, that was just a patient play where he didn't rush and didn't try to do too much, kept it simple. Just it's fun to watch like the evolution of these elite NBA players as it's like real time. You're seeing it, like every game you're kind of seeing something new. And yeah, that's just a huge part of the game. And to be fair, Dante and Nas kept them in the game. Bones kept
Yep.
them in the game so that Julius and Ant could finish it off. And that's just a testament to the team, to that culture that they have guys that are, can pick each other up and play those roles. And I thought that was a huge part of it. But yeah, I mean, Ant's a closer, man.
I mean, Dante talks about that all the time. Jaden talks about it all the time, that like that is the job of Ant and Julius, that like the rest of the team gets him there. Now you got to close it. And what we're seeing is like, Ant in another like answer said that like, even if he's having a poor game, like everybody knows the last 3 minutes, like I want the ball no matter what's happening. And like, he was laughing when he said it, but then it's also like, yeah, when he has the ball and there's 3 minutes left, like he's still passing it to Julius. He's still figuring out like where and what the right play is, which again, like, are we going to see this every single game this season? Like, no, he's still 24, 25 years old. Like there's still a little bit of growth left for him before he's like the perfect basketball version of himself. But like, it's just so encouraging to see it. I mean, a couple days ago, I went and like watched back. I think it was a game against the Cavs from 2020 where he had a chance to get like a layup with like 3 seconds left and bring it to a 1-point game. And he like questioned himself on the fast break, jumped up in the air and threw it back to Ricky. And Ricky Rubio is just like, what are you doing? Like, you can foul. And then the time just ran out. And it's like the growth from like that type of indecision to now we're listening to a dude break down every defensive coverage that he sees.
Yeah.
Is just, I mean, it's insane. It just is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Julius too, going back to him, I don't know what Knicks fans saw all the time. I wasn't watching Knicks basketball all the time when he was there, but I think like tonight, like I said earlier, his very workmanlike game where he had 15 and 8, he was 4 for 11, didn't make a three, didn't shoot free throws well, and yet we were talking about him being one of the like 2 most important players, especially down in the fourth quarter, right? Like just being able to say whatever we need, I'm going to do it. If shots ain't falling, I'm going to find something else. And he just, like, I don't know that everyone had the perception that he was that type of player 2, 3, 4 years ago. And I think that's a really cool development for the team. Maybe tells a story of how happy he is with this group or what he's willing to do at this stage of his career. But, I think that says a lot about Julius.
I put up a video of Julius before we hopped on here because I asked him, just like before that final play, the last thing on the Jumbotron was Kaiden like screaming from his courtside seat. And I asked him after the game of just like, what's it like? Like, what's that feeling like? It's not just you, like your kid is a celebrity here now. And like people go crazy for him. And he's just like, those are the things I'll remember when I'm not playing basketball anymore. And it's like, that's how happy the dude is here. Like, not many people come through Minnesota and are like, the thing I will remember is Minnesota Timberwolves fans cheering my son on. Like, I do think that has a lot to do with it. Like, when he got traded here, I remember like people reaching out to me on X and like texting me of like, enjoy the Julius Randle experience where he plays really good for 2 games, then he's terrible for 5. And we haven't really gotten that. Like, certainly he has flaws in his game. Like his defense, not ideal, does ball watch. Like, I'm not saying he's like a perfect player, but like that dude's probably going to get an all NBA spot this year. And when you have a first team all NBA player in Ant, and then probably a third team all NBA player in Julius, like that's a pretty darn good place to start when you're building a team, which I mean, deadline's coming up. You mentioned big is kind of where you'd target. Cole did ask, do we still have an open roster spot? Yes, we do. So if buyout market happens, we do have enough to sign somebody to a vet minimum. The only exception with that is the Wolves are first apron locked. So anyone I think making over 14 million that gets bought out, we can't sign. But you know, there will be people getting bought out. Like Kevin Love will get bought out. Like there will be those people out there. But Steve, before we get out of here, any last thoughts on kind of the trade deadline, what you're looking for, anyone that you've like had your eye on of like, oh, that'd be nice?
I mean, I heard Kevin Love's name come up the other day, and I kind of was like, in today's NBA, though, I feel like you got to have, maybe, in my opinion, what we need is more of that Derek Lively type guy. And not that it would be him, but like, Mitchell Robinson. I guess I don't know that we need a ton of scoring. I feel like most nights our scoring is adequate, in between, again, tonight, nobody other than Dante in the starting lineup shot particularly well, and we still were able to win. So that's where I would go if I was looking in the market. But in all honesty, I don't know. I mean, there's games where tonight is one of those games, and next game might be different. But I kind of like the vibe we got right now. I kind of like the team. They have chemistry that seems like running it back this year is working out so far the way we want. Obviously, you want to get better where you can, but if it's going to require anything other than that, I think I am like the person in the chat where I'd almost rather see more Berenger and just see what happens. So that's the way I would roll with it. But I think this game tonight was one of those where you kind of felt like you said earlier, like Julius, like one of those games where he just wasn't going to show up at all, and he did, and the team rallied around that in the fourth quarter, and it was a gutty win. So it's a roller coaster with this team, and today's a good day. So I'm happy to be here talking about this one.
Yeah, it could have been in a different universe. We're having a really bad time because they lost by 30.
Yes. Yeah.
Pack mentality brings up a big to cover the non-Rudy minutes. Cole brings up how much does Jock Landale make? He's the backup Aussie for Memphis. He only makes $2.5 million. He's on a veterans minimum. So like theoretically, you could do like TJ in a second for Jock Landale, Rob, and maybe you get Jock in a second back. Like those are the type of dudes that I'm looking at though. Or like what's somebody that like, I don't know, seems like you'd fit the culture. Like, I don't know why I just assume all Australians are great, but like I haven't.
Joe Ingles. Yeah.
Right. Like Joe's awesome. Got to meet Rocco quite a bit over the summer. He's delightful. Alana Smith is wonderful. Like she's one of the best humans on the planet. So like, why not bring Landell in here to add another Aussie to the group? They seem to have a good hit rate, but like
this isn't like one of those he torched the Wolves, so we're gonna go after him things, is it? Because I think we do that with like Ricky Davis or somebody a long time.
We did do that with Ricky Davis. Jock, I think he fits the mold that I'm looking for. Like he's tough, plays good interior defense, and he's like a 35 to 40% 3-point shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Started with the Spurs, played first 3 seasons primarily as a backup. Like he's not like a good, this is going to be a guy that we carry for the rest of his career, but he's like a 30-year-old 4th-year pro that played overseas, like dude that's probably not going to mess up the bench like culture if he's not playing. I don't think guys like that are going to be like devastated. Kind of like Brook Lopez is the other one I bring up because like, again, he has a 1 year with a team option. So it'd be weird if he got bought out, but like, he's a dude that probably just wants to win a ring at this point. He won one with Milwaukee. I'm sure he wants to win another one before he gets out of here. Like, seems like a really good dude from every place he's been. People speak highly of him. And if he's not playing on certain nights, I don't think like 36-year-old Brook Lopez is like punching fire extinguishers. Like, it just seems like a good vibe mesh. But like, also, I'll be honest, if Johan is just able to play, like if, let's say after the All-Star break, they start playing him 10 minutes a night, that fixes that problem. Like then it's maybe you can target, like, if Tyus gets bought out, or if Monte Morris gets bought out, or name random point guard, then maybe you can target two things. But
Mhm.
yeah, I do agree with Cole, though. We absolutely need another player. Rob is completely out of the rotation. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't know if that's by design because of the trade stuff, or if it's because he just didn't show enough. But I kind of went over his numbers last pod of like sub 40% for field, 1.5 assists to a turnover, like that. It just can't happen out of your bench.
Yeah.
Steve, any pressing Rob thoughts before we get out?
I mean, it's just disappointing. I think, you move up, you make some, you know, draft night action, and this is the result after 2 years or a year and a half, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think the concerns we all kind of had coming out, the concerns I had when I saw him this summer have not been solved, and so it's just disappointing. I mean, he's a small guy. He's always been kind of that size. That wasn't going to change. Turnovers have kind of been an issue, and I think Finch is like, hey, if he doesn't trust you, you're just not going to play. And that's probably why Baron J isn't playing a whole lot yet either. He's always kind of been a little bit tighter on the younger guys, but yeah, I mean, it's too bad about Rob. You kind of forget about TJ too. Like, he was supposed to be a big part of this rotation, kind of injuries and stuff going on. And so, yeah, it'd be nice to be OKC where everybody you draft is starting to play awesome and they just get better and they become, uh, all stars. But yeah, we haven't had that luck. So it's just unfortunate, I guess. I don't know. I mean, he just, yeah, I agree. I don't think you can play him. Like, I'm not advocating for that. It's too bad.
Yeah, the Dilling hive that is out there in the online universe, they have gotten more and more quiet this season as it just hasn't worked out, which kind of tells me like we're all on the same page. Like, it'd be nice if he could play 18 minutes and work through it, but like, it's not just the Wolves. Like, I always point to like Johnny Davis from the Wizards, who they drafted in the lottery and was just out of the league a year and a half later. Like, sometimes you whiff, which
Yeah.
Tim Conley, I think, has a pretty good track record. And I do think, like, you look at Rob and there are those like elite skills. Like, his ball handling is elite. His quickness is elite. Honestly, his defense has been fine. Like,
Mhm.
if you're getting like a 6-foot dude and their defense is fine, like, you're probably feeling good. It's just he can't make a shot and he's making turnovers. Like, if you come in for 8 minutes, you can't have 2.5 turnovers. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think there is some to the Finch side of it. Like, you look at Finch's backup point guards historically, and it's like Rubio, Monte Morris, Jordan McLaughlin. Like, they're dudes that just never turn the ball over. So you know,
Yeah.
again, I hope it works out for him. I almost think at this point, like, maybe with Rob and TJ, you just punt and say, we'll get you in summer league again and see what happens next year. But yeah, I agree with you, Cole. Like, that is a place of need. Steve, I do want to give you space though before we get out of here. Anything you want to plug? Where can people find you? Please talk about your podcast.
Yeah, Splash City Basketball Podcast. It's really Minnesota focused, so I cover some high school, some college, St. Thomas and Minnesota primarily, and then obviously talk some Timberwolves as well. Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, still doing a little bit there, but then YouTube as well. So yeah, that's the pod. I appreciate you letting me come on and talk about this really fun win tonight.
Dude, 100%. We do got Benny Hughes from Canis Hoopus coming on after the next one. And I believe I have you on the docket for another podcast at some point. Didn't we schedule one? Yes, we did. No? Yes, no. Steve, you're coming back on if you didn't. I don't see your name on my schedule, but we'll
Yeah,
get
I
you
don't
back
think we
on
got a
before the end
second
of the
one,
season.
but yeah, we'll definitely do it. This is super
All
fun.
right, man. I appreciate it. For anyone who jumped into this late, if you can't wait until tomorrow morning to listen to it, it will be published up on YouTube and over on X as soon as I end recording here. If you can wait until tomorrow morning, it does get published anywhere you listen to your podcasts, over on Spotify, Apple, and it comes out at 7 a.m. Trying to think, do I have anything else? No, that's all I have to plug. So we'll be back after the Bucks game with Benny Hughes.